Hi, I'm Nina. I'm a painter based in Dublin. Welcome to my studio. I'm here today to show you the set of Masterclass Oil Paint. I got it from Crafty Studio, who are my local art shop, and they're a small family-run business selling fabric and art supplies. They stock a wide range of products from drawing supplies, brushes, all kinds of paint, watercolor, gouache, tempera, acrylic, oil. A lot of products from Neva Palette, which is a family of brands from Petersburg, Russia, and Masterclass is one of them. What's great about these products is that they're really good quality but are way less expensive compared to some other brands within the same quality range. I first came across this brand when I was studying art in the Russian Academy in Florence. Those were recommended to us by our professors and they use those paints themselves. Masterclass is a professional artist quality paint. Interesting fact, it's used for restoration work in major museums in Russia. The set that I want to show you consists of 12 18mm tubes. These paints are also available in larger 46mm tubes. Oil paint consists of literally oil and pigment, and that proportion and quality of these two components will determine the quality of paint. Masterclass have a great pigmentation and it's really pleasant to work with them. I'd like to take a closer look now at each of these colors. Zinc White, often called a mixing white, has a softer texture compared to titanium and it's semi-transparent. In this test I'll be actually using a titanium from Ladoga series. While Masterclass is considered a professional quality paint, Ladoga is a studio quality paint made with less expensive pigments, but the quality remains really good, comes at even better price. Cadmium Yellow Medium. It's a very strong, rich yellow, highly pigmented paint. Mixed with white gives a nice warm lemonish color. Naples Yellow. It's subtle, earthy yellow. Mixed with white gives a natural, straw-like yellow color. This Naples Yellow is actually quite transparent, reminds me of Indian Yellow. Gold Ochre. Golden, warm, brownish color. Mixed with white gives a neutral, sandy yellow, which matches the color of the wooden palette that I'm using. Semi-transparent. English Red. Heavily pigmented brownish red with high opacity, mixed with white gives a lovely toned down pinkish color. It's great for painting flesh. Cadmium Red Light. Beautiful saturated red, mixed with white gives a poppy red with warmish undertone. Ultramarine Light. Transparent blue. Fresh, clean, luminous blue with warmish undertone. Mixed with white gives a color that is close to royal blue. Phthalocyanide blue, very difficult to pronounce, otherwise known as phthalo blue. Very high tinting strength. It's an elegant, deep ocean blue. Mixed with white creates a rich light blue with greenish undertone. Cobalt green light. This is my favorite from this set. Toned down, coolish green. I can see it working really well when painting portraits in cool light conditions. Mars brown deep. This is a lovely warm reddish brown. It's actually another favorite of mine from this set. Sometimes it's really hard to mix a warm light brown color, and this Mars brown really does the job. Burnt umber. Classic dark yellowish brown, quite warm by nature. However, this one is actually slightly cooler if you compare it to, let's say, Mars brown deep. It's quite light in texture. Lamp black, opaque and cool with strong tint, deep blue undertone. Much cooler than commonly used ivory black. I have selected a couple of colors from the set and I'm going to use them to paint a small, quick still life study. I'm going to use a small piece of leftover canvas and tape it to the board, following the thread. The bottom edge might look a little bit off, but trust me, it's all straight. I'm using a watercolor pencil to make a quick sketch, organize the composition and roughly outline the objects. Here I also want to make a note of the border between light and shadow. Colors that I like to use are Ladoga Titanium White, Cadmium Yellow, Gold Ochre, English Red, Cadmium Red Light, Cadmium Orange from Crafty Studio Open Stock range, Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Umber. If needs be, I'm going to thin down the paint with some linseed oil. I'll be using a selection of brushes from Crafty Studio. Some of them are synthetic, other natural bristles. I like to use soft brushes, and some of these might actually be watercolor brushes, but that's fine for me. I would like to start with blocking in the large color spots, starting with shadows. First, I'm mixing the shadow color of the pumpkin. It's a mixture of English Red and Cadmium Orange. I'm gonna make a small mark on canvas to see if I'm happy with the color. There's usually some small adjustments to be made. I might maybe make it a little bit lighter. Once I'm happy with that, I'll proceed with blocking in the whole shape. I'm keeping the edges quite soft for now. I'll be able to refine them at a later stage. For darker parts of this shadow spot, I'll use the same exact color, but with an addition of some burnt umber. Next, I'm going to mix a color for the shadow of the leaf. It's a mix of ochre and cadmium orange, plus a touch of burnt umber to tone down the saturation, but I'm still keeping that color quite warm. And similar to what I did with the pumpkin, I'm blocking in that big shadow shape. I'm now gonna paint the shadow color of the background. Here I'm mixing some yellow ochre and burnt umber. I'll use that for the darkest parts of the background. I'm starting to paint the darkest spots and cast shadows underneath the leaf. It looks quite dark at the moment, but it'll make more sense once I fill the rest of my canvas. Next, I'm mixing color of the general light of the background. So again, I'm going from the largest color spots and moving on to the light area now. That color will be quite dark anyway. It's a mix of ultramarine blue, burnt umber and white, and I'm trying to create this neutral bluish brownish color. Definitely cold as I'm painting in daylight, so the light that is coming from my window is cold. I'm gonna make a small mark on the canvas again, just to make sure that I'm happy with the color. In terms of value, I need to make sure that in this particular spot, the background color is much lighter compared to the dark parts of the pumpkin. Background will be the largest color mass in my painting. Already at this stage, I'm trying to introduce some color vibrations within this color spot. I'm adjusting the basic background color to achieve darker, warmer, cooler variations of it. I try to control the color with burnt umber to make it darker, but there are also moments where the color appears almost purplish, and there I'm introducing a bit of English red. The table surface is also covered with the same fabric, but because it's horizontal, it absorbs way more light than the vertical plane behind. So I'm tweaking the proportions of my brown, blue, white mixture, trying to achieve a lighter bluish version of it. This part of the background over to the right is further away from the light than anywhere else, and there I want to introduce some darker tones. So I'm trying to achieve this gradient of color, values and temperatures, and that should create a sense of space. I'm not forgetting about these smaller spots of color in the background. So now I'm moving on to the light area of the smaller objects. I'll be mixing some cooler colors now. I'm taking my warm mixture that I used before and I'm adding some blue and white to make it lighter and cooler. I'm further adjusting that color to match the correct value, and then I'm painting this color into the warm mid-tone, keeping the transition of these colors nice and soft. So I'm painting wet in wet, and oil is great for allowing me to do that. It's very satisfying. For highlights and the lightest light, I can go again for the opposite temperature. I'm actually noticing that it's quite warm. This time I'm using a little bit of cadmium yellow. So it'll be a warm highlight on top of a cool light. And that temperature shift again will help me create the form. Now I'm mixing a cold light color for the leaf. It's a mix of ochre, blue and white. And similar to what I did with the pumpkin, I'm painting this color into the existing layers. of warm shadow color. So I'm trying to draw with these two colors, trying to describe that edge between light and shadow. So I'm tweaking the colors as I go. It's this stage of painting where I've already established my color relationship, so I know that everything is sitting in the right place. So I'm just making a small adjustments to the colors that I already have. To further develop the form, I'll be adding some reflected light within the shadow area. I'll be mixing a cooler version of the colors that I used to paint light. Once I have everything in, I can go back and refine and be a bit more precise with the edges. It's essentially, I'm drawing with the color and paying attention to the soft and sharp edges and trying to introduce a lovely balance between the two. And at the end, I'm scanning around, refining edges. I'm looking for that lovely variation of sharp and soft. And at the very end, some details. And the painting is finished.